Welcome back. All right, so now that you have completed that section of your notes, we are going to get back to the slides. And we are just gonna review basically what you just looked up. So some of the health risks of inactivity. We know that being inactive can lead to living a sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary just means kind of like the cat down there where he's really just not moving. He just kind of sits around, isn't really that active. So sedentary is involving little physical activity. And then we know that being sedentary all the time puts you at a risk for a variety of health problems. Some of those things might include unhealthful weight gain and obesity, cardiovascular disease such as heart attack and stroke, type 2 diabetes, certain types of cancers, asthma and other breathing problems, osteoporosis, which is basically where the inside of the bone starts to form holes, if you will, and then it's easier for the bones to break, so they're not as strong. Osteoarthritis, which is a very common form of arthritis that affects mainly the hands and the feet, and it's the inflammation around your joints, which then can make it very painful to move your joints. And over time, if it's left untreated, nodules can form on your actual joints and make the hands kind of look a little disfigured. Psychological problems such as stress, anxiety, and depression, and also premature death. So all of those risk factors were listed on that website that you just researched. So next we're going to talk about identifying health influences and risks, so things that influence us. So the first type of influence or risk is heredity or genetics. So these are traits that are passed biologically from parent to child. This could include skin color, it could include eye color, and hair color. For example, my mom has blonde hair and blue eyes, and voila, so do I. As well as gender. So your parents are actually, when they have you, the gender is decided and then passed along. The next component of health influences or risks is physical environment. So the physical environment, this encompasses all physical and social conditions that surrounds an individual. And these are things that could influence their health. This could include air quality. If you grow up in an area that has poor air quality because there's a lot of factories around, that can impact your health. If there's a lot of exposure to disease, that could impact your health. If you're growing up in conditions that are not very cleanly and there's a lot of disease around. And then loud noises, as well as sun radiation. Social environment. So these are the people that you spend time with, such as your family, your friends, classmates, and other people in your community. Number 4 is culture. So culture is the beliefs and patterns of behavior that are shaped by a group of people and passed from generation to generation. So this might include foods, it might include ceremonies and celebrations, and how you show emotion. So one thing that I can think of right off of the bat that's a cultural aspect is in the Native American community. Throughout history, they have actually used tobacco in spiritual rituals. So that would be an example of a cultural component that could possibly hurt someone's health if they smoke tobacco a lot, because we know that smoking tobacco or cigarettes can cause cancer over time. The media also plays a role in whether or not it's a risk or protective factor for you in health. Forms of communication that provide news and entertainment, that's how we describe media. This can be TV, and TV can have both a positive and negative component on your health. And then 6 is technology. So we do know that there are positives with technology, such as advances in medicine, and then using the internet for providing health information, which you guys just did because you looked up some of the health risks of inactivity on the CDC's website. But we also know that there are negative influences through technology as well, such as the computer usage limits. Kids have actually been known to spend like 7 hours, upwards of 7 hours online or on some kind of tablet throughout the day. And that's not very healthy. It's definitely more healthy if you are using the tablet or you're using the computer and then you're getting up and you are trying to get physical activity, or you're trying to make healthful decisions while you're using them. And we also know that not all information on the internet is accurate. So we want to make sure that when we are looking things up, that we're using credible sources, that they're coming from places that actually research and have research to back up their findings. And then next is healthcare. So healthcare is medical services provided by doctors, nurses, dentists, and therapists. So some of the things that could influence your health in either a negative or positive way is availability of healthcare. And some of this has to go along with insurance. And if people don't have insurance, then they aren't able to get the healthcare they need if they are sick. And then insurance and other costs. So the last one is behavior. And of all of the influences, all of the other 7 influences we talked about, the decisions that you make and the actions that you take often have the greatest impact on your health. So the things that we talked about before, those 7 other influences, like the heredity and genetics, your physical environment, social environment, culture, media, technology, and healthcare, you overall control your future and you control the decisions that you make. All right, so we are going to stop on this slide and you are going to do another activity. So please go back to the HyperDoc to see what you need to do next.